This book is my way of, quote, adding a memory, quote, for some of my ancestors who left nothing behind. We know they lived, but they died early deaths, and because they died on the plains, there is no death certificate, no gravestone, no description of who they were and how they lived their lives. So I did my best to discover what we did know about them, and then I imagined the rest. My imaginings grew out of what I knew about their posterity, those I knew as a child and youth. When I had finished writing the book, a friend mentioned that he had seen a stone monument at This Is the Place Park in Salt Lake City, honoring the children who died on the plains. I wanted to see if my ancestors who died as children were named on that monument. For some reason, I had the forethought that they would not be included. So my wife and I went to see for ourselves. As I had expected, their names were not included, but I was intrigued by the inscription on the introductory stone. Pioneer Children's Memorial. From 1847 to 1869, over 300 companies of immigrants, refugees, and travelers of all ages trekked over 1,100 miles across the vast American plains to the Salt Lake Valley. Included among these courageous pioneers were children who faithfully followed their families, despite the uncertainty of their futures. This memorial stands as a tribute to those brave pioneer children, ages 0 to 17, who died on their journey, including others whose names have been lost or remain unknown. The final words on the stone captured my attention. Quote, including others whose names have been lost or remain unknown. End quote. Even though there was little known about the children whose names appeared, at least their names were engraved on the stone. But my ancestors, who died as children in 1850, did not appear on the memorial. They had been lost, unknown, and forgotten. So this book is one way of remembering such children, and many others of the nearly 2,000 saints who died while crossing the plains. It is a story about relationships, the attachments we make in mortality that endure beyond the grave, because it is our relationships that define who we really are, our relationships with God and with each other. The story recounts how two pioneer families listened to missionaries, joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and made the long trek to Utah. The Daniel and Sarah Russell family lived in Akron, New York, a small town east of Buffalo. They had 3 children, Lois, Lester, and Isaac. The Harriet and Jason Stillman family were living in Colebrook, Connecticut, a town west of Hartford. They also had 3 children, Lucia, Francis Maria, and Charles. The 2 families joined the church around the same time, but then Daniel's wife Sarah and Harriet's husband Jason died. Following the recommendation of the missionaries, Daniel visited Harriet and they decided to marry. They then had 6 children in their blended family. When the prophet Joseph invited newly baptized members to come to Nauvoo, Daniel and Harriet eagerly accepted the invitation. Daniel's son Lester married Jane Anderson in Nauvoo, and they had 3 children. The family lived in Nauvoo for nearly 4 years before traveling west with thousands of saints who had been forced to flee the city and temple they cherished. Their oldest child, Valoran, nicknamed Dinny, tells their story. Dinny was 6 years old when he arrived in Utah with his grandpa Daniel and Harriet, Dinny's step-grandmother. Although most of the characters in the story are real and the historical events are accurate, little is known about their lives. Many of the details in the story are fictional.